Hey, Trigger Happy family. We are live. How are you both? How y'all doing?
Hey, girl.
Good. We are excited. I'm here for all the things,
Yes,
all the tips. I'm excited. Let's do it.
this is about to be such a good show. So, for those who are not watching this in real time, um, we are doing this is our first time doing it. So, Corvaya, we are definitely using you as a good little guinea pig, but you're a cute guinea pig, so that's all that matters.
So I appreciate all the effort you guys put into this and all the thought.
Absolutely. I'm so excited to be here. This new experience, like I said, for all of us, we are doing a live Q&A. I'm so grateful, like I said, to have you here. We've never done this before, y'all. So if we mess up, just charge to the game. Uh, we growing and learning in real life. So I'm super excited to be here. Y'all, if you've ever seen the podcast, y'all know me and Danny. But Corvette, we want to get to know you a little bit before we hop right on in. So give us a little bit like about your background, how you got onto the show, what your experience has been. Just give us a little tidbit. We don't want to tell all the deets. But
Right.
we'd love to hear from you.
Yes, I'm Corvaya, pronounced Corvaya, exactly how it's spelled. I've been seeing people on Twitter butcher my Corolla, Carana, Carvana,
Oh,
coronavirus. I've heard it all. So I'm Corvaya. I'm 31. I'm a single woman in Miami. And I work in the media industry. So I'm a media professional. I am a lead digital strategist in a marketing department at Revolt, a Diddy-owned company. I really love the work that I do and enjoy that part of my life. And I am always working on improving and evolving in my personal life, including dating. So that's me.
I love it.
I hear a little bit of an accent. Where are you from?
Yeah, my dad is Black, my mom is Puerto Rican, and I was born and raised in New Jersey, North Jersey.
That's what I more so meant. Like I was just like, I hear like an accent. I'm just like
a New York thing going on.
Nah, that's that northern because I lived in New York for 10. No,
yeah, I hear that more. I hear that more, like the northern accent.
Yeah. It doesn't go away. It used to be a lot thicker actually, and I used to be extremely self-conscious about it. Now I kind of own it. And it comes out.
We love it down here. You'll learn. I'm sure you learned that everybody loves it here.
They do, but when I was younger, I didn't think they loved it. They just kept calling me out, and I was like, "Why is this bringing so much attention to me? Like, what else are we going to talk about?" But now I recognize that people appreciate it. I stand out right away, and it gives me an opportunity to talk about my culture, which I'm really proud of. So.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's how I feel about my Southern accent. Because I mean, most of the time, I can mask it. You won't hear it.
Right.
But once I'm super comfortable, Danny laughs at me all the time because I'll say certain words and you'll just hear that Southern drawl, and I'm like, well, I can't help it. Like,
and I'm Jamaican, so like sometimes I say words. Then when I was a child, I took speech classes for 5 years, and all through elementary school, I took speech classes, and people will still be like, what's that? Where are you from? I hear something. I'm like, what? I done worked this hard for you guys to still hear an accent. So accents are just like hard to get rid of. We just own them and
it's a part of who you are. It's a part of who you are.
Absolutely. So y'all, we are going to hop right on into this thing. So tonight we're going to have us a little fun. Like I said, this is our first time doing a live Q&A experience. So we, of course, have some really interesting questions for you, Corvea. And then after that, we're going to do a little rapid fire where we ask some very quick questions and you have to answer immediately. Like no time, no breaks. And then we're going to get into the Q&As that a number of folks submitted, so that we're going to definitely answer those questions.
I'm really excited about that.
Listen, I'm hella excited about that one. But I'm going to need y'all to do me a favor. Don't get in your feelings, okay, with our responses. I've never been good at bullshitting. I'm a straight shooter.
I definitely have not.
Listen, it is what it is. It ain't what it ain't. Either you like it or you love it, or you don't like it, and that's fine too. But we're gonna have us a good time. So we're here for a good time, not a long time. So we're gonna hop right on in.
Hey.
Now, Danny, I know, and Corvette, we like to make sure we ask every single person this question. And I realized that this is one that we totally did not prep you for. So love you, mean it.
You know what? It's okay.
It's an easy one. It's an easy one. So outside of like the roles and the titles and the things that you do, like our titles and our roles that we play, like it can kind of get in the way sometimes, and we can kind of it can start to own us. But
Right.
outside of all that, who is it that you say you are? See?
Oh my gosh, that's easy. That's easy. I think about it all the time because I get it. Titles can consume us. I don't ever want to be that person. But first and foremost, I'm a daughter. I have a great relationship with my parents. I love them to death. They're a part of who I am and my DNA. I'm a sister. I want to be loving children. I just dropped my sister off at school this morning. I don't play when it comes to her. I'm a friend. I am really intentional about my friendships. And I'm a mentor. There's a lot of women that have reached out to me over the years in the last decade of my life who I have mentored. Sometimes it was very informally, and sometimes it was formally through booking me on a calendar, making a 90-day plan, signing a contract, signing some type of agreement, and me pouring into women in a way that took a lot out of me, but I gained so much from it and helping them elevate in their careers. So those are the titles that I love and I enjoy. Most recently, I'm really, really enjoying being a titi, like an aunt. I take pride in being like the rich auntie. And I just love that title. Between my brothers, I have, oh God, let me not even say numbers because if I skip somebody, they're going to be heartbroken.
Forgotten me.
But my brothers have a lot of kids, okay? And so we pour into them. Very, very family oriented. So those are the titles that I take the most part in. And if you just take away all of the career accolades, that stands and that defines who I am for sure.
I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. So like I said, we're gonna hop right on into this thing. Dani,
Yes. So we know that you are currently on the current season of Ready to Love Miami. So fun fact is I am a huge fan. I remember doing this yesterday. So I didn't want to say anything until I actually saw you. But I am my husband and I have been watching Ready to Love we've seen every season. I think we started at season 3 and then binge season 1 and 2. Watch season 3, so we are real fans, and we watch every Friday. So yes, Natasha, it is out. It's been out. They're on the 4th or 5th episode for this season.
Yeah, episode 4 this Friday.
Yeah. So I just want you to know that I've been watching, child.
A lot of married couples watch this show.
We love it. Oh my God.
Which I don't know why I'm surprised, because before I was introduced to the show, I mean, I've only watched fully, in full, 1 season. And it was just before we started recording, I needed to do my homework. You know what I'm saying? So I told my mom about it, and she was like, oh my gosh, I watch it all the time. Little did I know that she was a fan of the show. She had watched all the seasons with her husband. So they're very, very involved. And it makes for good laughs and bonding with myself and them.
Yeah, it's really great. So I was when everything started connecting, I was like, oh, this should be great, because I know everything about this show. I'm always watching and I'm super into it. So I think I'm always curious as to why people do these kinds of shows, because I don't only like this show. I love all the ones on Netflix. I love Love is Blind. Alicia's not super into reality, but I am that's my guilty pleasure is reality TV specifically.
And
dating shows.
Yes, you and millions of other people in the world. It's so funny, when the show premiered, people started reaching out to me via DM that I had already met or known in the past. And it's almost like I never knew they watched reality TV. It was the secret. They hid it. It's really a guilty pleasure.
Oh my gosh. And my husband watches it too, and he'll be it'll be Sunday night, and he's we watch Housewives of Potomac and Housewives of Atlanta, and he'll be oh, have our Housewives wrong. He wants us to So I like this. I love to see people date, and I think dating is such a brave endeavor, and I think a lot of times it's seen as a chore. and it's seen as something that is negative. But I think these shows just kind of shed light as to how brave you have to be and how much effort it takes and how much self-awareness it takes to not just date, but then put yourself out there to see and judge you. So I just wanted to know, I'm sure you were dating outside of this show and you're someone that understands how dating works. So it's like, what would you say has been your toughest personal obstacle to overcome with dating, just in general, from your experience? Yeah.
Wow. There's so many. There's so many. Like you said, it's a brave endeavor. And I really just feel like I have to go in a hat and pick one because all of them are painful. All of them are painful. Like all of the hoops that you jump through, all of the life lessons and the self lessons that you learn through dating, they're all painful, but they all get you to like the other side of things. I think the one that comes to mind first comes out of my first relationship, my first dating experience with a man. And I grew up in a household where my mother and my father, they did fight. They picked at each other. They were physically abusive to each other. And this was when I was younger than 10 years old. Life got so much better post 10 years old. And as my parents evolved and grew, because they were young parents, they started recognizing how impactful, an abusive household could be to their kids in a negative way.
Yeah.
But before the age of 10, I did experience, like some abuse in the household. Never thought that in my 20s, it would affect me. It wasn't even a thought, because by this time I had gone through middle school and gone through high school and gone through college, and I didn't experience that. I didn't see that anymore. It was really in those like adolescent ages.
Yeah.
And so here I am dating this man, and I start experiencing like hypertension type of feelings where
like anxious.
I would never reach out and swing on him per se, but like that feeling, like getting hot and like just wanting to just punch him in the face or something like that, And it's almost like when I look at it in hindsight, it's almost like I may have thought it was normal, but something in my heart and something in my spirit always told me that it was the wrong thing to do. Yeah. But for that to just come to me so easily, told me that it was something that was a part of my journey that I never really addressed. I never really talked about, just swept it under the rug. And thank God that I was never attracted to abusive men.
Yeah.
Times when you're born and raised in an abusive household, or you've experienced it, right? Because I had a really amazing childhood. But if you experience that dysfunction or some abuse in some areas of your life, I think you go one of two ways. You're either attracted to that or you're drawn to that.
Yes.
You're like, wow, I saw that. I hated it. I never want to experience it. That is not my life. I'm not going to do it. Yeah. So I was more on the side of like, I really love gentle men. I love like the Southern gentleman. I was always attracted to men who were very kind and gentle. And I'm so grateful for that. If anything, I was the more of the aggressor, more of the feisty one in the relationship. That's been my biggest obstacle to overcome, just understanding how that may have affected me in my life and how that shows up in my relationships, and just making sure that I break these cycles that are kind of on me just from, where I was raised and who I was around.
Yeah, I think it's really, really important that just as folks who are dating, that you acknowledge like, hey, we've all got some shit that we may have stepped into, but just because, you've stepped into or you've been introduced or you've had certain experiences that do not lend well when it comes to being in a partnership, relationship, or dating ship with somebody else, you can still decide like, hey, yo, yes, this may have happened to me. This may have been my experience, but I don't have to keep allowing this to be what is the common thread or theme in my relationships. First, to acknowledge we all got some shit that we got to work on, period.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We all got something that we got to work on. But now, okay, after we have worked on it, after we have acknowledged that, hey, this is a thing for me, then we can, like you say, know that, all right, I like gentle partners. I'm like you. I'm feisty enough for both of us.
So it needs to be one of us in the house. Yes.
We both can't be popping off. We got to choose.
Mm-hmm.
We got to choose. And here's my thing too with that. what I started doing, because I used to be like you when I was married in my first marriage. Oh, it didn't take you popping, I'm popping too. Like we gonna be popcorn up in this bitch because I'm gonna act out too.
Yep.
And what I realized after going through lots of years of therapy and thousands of dollars is that I get to decide whether or not I'm going to be an aggressor and an agitator in these situations.
Right.
And
100.
I want a gentle man. I am also going to have to learn to be gentle with them because, in my experience, gentle men don't know how to argue. Not
Right.
for real. They don't know how to
It's
argue.
frustrating as hell. Like, where's the argument, sir?
They shut down. And I'm like, I don't want my partner
Yeah.
to feel like he has to always shut down with me because
Yeah.
listen, I could thump with the best of them. This mouth is something serious.
Right.
And
Same.
it's so crazy. It's so crazy sometimes when you don't grow up seeing things and things are just inside you anyways. Like we've had conversations on this podcast about just like rage and how rage shows
That's
up.
the word I was looking for, that rage, that feeling of rage.
Yeah. I have a lot of that, and it is probably the number one topic in all of my therapy sessions. And I have had that rage and acted on it in relationships where I was the aggressor and things got physical, and I have straight not proud of it, not okay. Nobody should put their hands on anybody, but I have straight swollen a jaw out of some rage. Okay, and I didn't grow up, I grew up with a single mom. So I didn't really have a man in the house like that. My parents divorced when I was a kid, like 5 or 6. And so I didn't grow up seeing that either. But it's just crazy how sometimes your behavior can just come out from the feelings that you feel, regardless of what you've seen. Like, I think sometimes we're blaming our parents for stuff. And it's like, I never seen my mom hit nobody, and I damn sure punched that man in the face. Yeah.
Overall, through the years of therapy, though, I learned, triggers were, how to identify them really early, and recognize what that feeling is, what to do when that feeling occurs. And
Yes.
it's been years, y'all, since I seriously dated someone who even made me feel like that. So that's a blessing right there in itself. That pattern is I kind of stopped that pattern for myself in my life, and it didn't get crazy,
And believing that you can stop it, like giving yourself permission to heal and giving yourself permission to have the tools to do better. Because that was like, I never had done that before, and I've never done it again. And I was 21 at the time. I'm 32 now. So it's like, it's one of those things where you don't have to always feel like how fucked up you are is how fucked up you have to stay, because A, that's just how you've always been, or B, that's what you always see. And because sometimes we're surrounded by our parents or aunties or uncles or even friends that we don't see evolve, we feel like, oh, that's just how I am, and I just have to stay that way. Right. No, give yourself permission to heal and to grow and to evolve and to do better. And don't couch yourself out like you're not going to be able to be this better person and not make that same mistake again. Just because, like, that saying, like, once a thief, always a thief. Not true. Yeah, you can stop feeling. Yeah, you can have the inclination to. Yeah. But you can definitely decide, like, hey, I'm not going to take this person's stuff today. Like, it's an everyday decision, just like love, just like obeying the law. Like, these are conscious decisions we have to make about everything. You can make a decision to not fucking up. Like, that's why I don't have that kind of tolerance for men that just, I just can't help myself. Like, no, like, that's not
true. Yeah, I call bullshit. You can absolutely help yourself.
And I, because of what I've learned through my own growth process in that area, it's easy for me to identify certain things in people and men. And so sometimes I call bullshit, but I don't say a word. I just walk away. Like, that's not my battle to fight. You have some demons you're dealing with, and it's not my business or my place to tell you what to do with them.
Absolutely. Like, now, here's the thing. Now, I do believe in giving and allowing people the space and grace to grow through things, right? Mm-hmm. But it all depends, honestly, on what my non-negotiables are. And the crazy thing about it is these non-negotiables have changed over the years, because what was a non-negotiable for me at like 24 may or may not be a non-negotiable for me now at 36.
Right.
So what I want to know is, like, what are like your top non-negotiables? Like, I don't know, top 3 non-negotiables. And then have you ever dated somebody who you adjusted your non-negotiables for, and what happened? We're gonna
Yeah.
get my business, girl. What happened?
Yes. So my I would say top 3. I have a lot. I'm one of those,
I have a lot.
and I'm okay with that. There are always women trying to counsel me and tell me to like limit my list, and I'm like, no, y'all do that. I'm good over here. But if I had to narrow it down to 3, number 1 is emotional intelligence and stability. That's really important to me, and that kind of ties into our conversation about emotions and rage and all those things. I want a man who can recognize how he's feeling, and not always have to act on how he's feeling. If he's upset or sad, he can recognize that and know not to put that on me.
Yeah.
If we're around each other or together, or if he's happy, he can identify that and express it too. As a woman, you want to know when your man is happy, or when he's appreciative, or when he's feeling quirky or weird or blushing. I love men that express those things to me, because I love to make my partner feel good. And when my partner can communicate with me that I'm making him feel good in whatever way, I'm just like ecstatic. It's like positive reinforcement. Financial stability and security is a non-negotiable for me. I've been dragged on the internet for that. But
I already knew that.
You see, I didn't lead with that, right? I'm learning. But
that's unfair that you can't lead with that.
It's unfair. Yes.
Every other race, it's not even a discussion.
It's not
a discussion. The expectation is that if you are in a heterosexual relationship, that as him being the man, he just handles things, and you get to decide as the woman how you will want to show up in your relationship. Whether it's you decide you want to work a high-powered career and make all this money, or build a brand, or have your own business, like, you get to decide. But as a man, it's just the expectation. From my Asian homegirls to my white homegirls to my Indian homegirls to my Middle Eastern homegirls. And I got homegirls literally in every ethnic group.
Right.
And as much as I love us, and by us, I mean Black folk, we are the only group who even has this conversation.
Yes. And you know what's so interesting about that is, as I'm watching myself on TV, right? And I'm paying attention to like what they edit and what they cut, what they keep and what they throw away, because we film for 16, 17, 18 hours. We're really going on dates here, right? I had to ask myself, how do I feel about watching only this layer of me, right? How do I feel about that? And it turns out that I am quite all right, because there are so many men who would watch the same thing we're all watching. Millions of people are watching and not even think twice. Like, oh yeah, that's
standard.
That's normal, right? And I think that it's I have to make an effort to explain myself, almost like, because in my world, right, in my dating world, it's a given. I don't ask for much. It's just an unspoken, I do me, you do you. When we become one, it's a partnership at this point. And hopefully there's a lot of love involved. You know what I'm saying? I'm not just looking for somebody with money. I'm looking for someone financially secure and stable, meaning you pay your own bills, you live by yourself, you take care of your mom. I like men that take care of their parents. To me, that's like a big sign of like, wow, he's well enough that he has his mom on payroll. He sends his mom a check every month just because it's his mom. You know what I'm saying? Something I want to do for my parents one day. There's maybe little to no debt, high credit score. Like, that's all important to me. So that's my number 2 non-negotiable. My number 3 non-negotiable is how he treats other people. I really look forward to having a family. I want like 10,000 boys. And so I've learned in my dating life, from dating men with children, that the type of person they are, the character that they exude, really does trickle down into how they father their children. And I've dated men who have kids, and I didn't like their parenting style, but it's like I couldn't be mad because I've seen the signs based on how they treated other people. And then I've dated men who, wow, I really admired their parenting style, and it almost made me like more
attracted,
to them. Yeah. So that's a big non-negotiable for me. So what is it? Emotional stability, financial security and stability, and character, how they treat other people.
Yeah.
Okay.
Never wrong with it. But have you dated someone who you went against, like what's your non-negotiable?
Yeah, I've dated some broke boys before.
Listen,
I have.
And guess what? I bet the dick was good though.
Fire. If it's one thing broke boys got,
always the case.
Broke boys got good dick. That's why you got to stay.
Broke men have the best penis. And we all know that. That's the only way we get caught up and get dickmatized. That's what happens to us. That's how we end up in those stupid ass situations.
It usually is some sort of physical connection or like hot chemistry that makes you kind of blind to everything else. But and when I say broke boys, it's kind of like, I remember a guy specifically. I remember him being in the middle of a transition. And he was transitioning. You know how a lot of athletes go through, a lot of Black male athletes go through so much trauma.
Yes.
Once they're transitioning from, being in the NFL or being a professional athlete, or even just being an athlete in college to adulthood and not hitting that professional level. And I dated someone, I really loved him, and I saw how his life changed when he wasn't, when basically he was fired from his job, and he could no longer play football. And little by little, his savings started decreasing, and he didn't make the right choices in terms of investments, and he didn't have the right mentorship. And there were so many people like eating at him for money and things like that. And I really tried to stick it out because I consider him my best friend. We had spent a lot of time together, many years together, and developed a friendship first. And when we were romantic and intimate and decided to take the next step to being in a relationship, I saw how less money ruined his spirit, and less fame ruined his spirit, and less, attention ruined his spirit. And I remember covering a lot of things. And I started saying, I don't want to eat in the house. I want to go out to dinner. You're coming with me and I'm paying for it. I'm paying for us and you're going to have a great time. And so I started doing these things that, not that I never did it before, because I always am, my major love language is gifts. And so I'm always like showering men with these gifts, men that I'm dating or I'm serious with. And so taking him out to dinner wasn't like something he never experienced from me, or buying him something wasn't something he never experienced from me, but it became like I'm buying him something because he needs it and he can't afford it. And it broke my heart to see him that way. And I wanted to stick it out, y'all, but I had less money or was broke, but because he wasn't secure in himself and happy with himself and healing in the correct way as a man, he could no longer provide anything for me. Not a cent, not compassion, not a bit of communication, nothing. So I have dated, it's a non-negotiable for me. You would think that I will walk away at that time. But when you're involved and you're in love with somebody, it's not easy to walk away. But it just bit me in the butt. It just bit me in the butt to stick around, It won't happen again.
Yeah, especially because if they don't know how to come into the fullness and the understanding that money is just an energy. And listen, I'm a whole Taurus, and if our money ain't right, woo child, it takes us to a whole nother place.
I'm the same way. If my money is not right, you won't be able to find me. I'm kind of done trying to figure out how to make some money. Yeah.
Listen, that's what the focus is. But I wish though, not even I wish, but I do understand, how they get that way. But it's coming to the understanding that, hey, this is a temporary place and space and time. How I am when I do have money. Like, I prefer generous men. I do not like men who tell me no a lot when it's something I want. Call me spoiled. Call me whatever you want to call me, but I like generous men because I'm super generous. Like, if you're my dude, it's nothing you can't have. $1,000 shoes, as long as I'm making sure all the bills are paid, I'm of course financially okay. But for me, because I'm so generous in more than just money too, But in more than just money, when I don't have a man who's generous, it fucks with my mind. And then for a man who doesn't know how to accept that he is going through a phase or a stage or just something is happening right now, it's not going to last for forever. It's very frustrating because now you're battling up against their ego, and it is very little that we can do when you battling up against their ego and their pride. So no, I totally get it.
Yeah,
I totally get it. And Miss Smith, I agree with you, sis. I agree that a man who is not financially secure should not be ready to initiate and entertain a relationship because his focus is wrong, especially intercourse.
What was, and you ladies at the cocktail mixer, I was a little misunderstood in the sense that I with I'm dating 12 men. Why would I choose the one who's living with his little brother? It's a no for me. Just like if he wasn't physically attracted to a woman, he's not gonna try to date her. He's gonna move on to the next woman.
Yeah, I wanted to talk about that because I definitely think that I didn't understand why that was so blown out of proportion and taken out of context in that way. Like it definitely painted you as that. I see what they were trying to do, how they were trying to paint you, but because I'm the same way, I was like, why would I want the man with the roommate? Like, there's 12 other men here. Like, why would I choose him out of all the 12? Like, it's not like, oh, he's been this guy and we've been friends and we're falling for each other, but that's the reason. It's like, no, I'm here on a show to meet my potential soulmate. Yeah. I would prefer to pick the soulmate that don't have a roommate. Yeah. You know, so it was interesting to watch the way they tried to kind of make it seem like you were just so intolerant as opposed to you just having a standard. And I think a lot of times for Black women, it turns into this thing where our standards equal gold digger, equal bougie, equal high maintenance. And it's just like, why can't I have standards? Like, why can't I say, like, I don't want to be with a man? Like, that is an absolute non-negotiable. Like, I'm not being with no man with no damn roommate. Right. I'm not being with no man who got a car.
Yeah. Yep. And it's a preference. And I think one of my castmates, I think Sue Ann had mentioned, you know, she always wants context. And I could, you know, confidently say I don't need any context. At this point in my life, I am looking to date someone on my level. I don't want to say on my level, you know, but I want to date my match. And I've listened into a few of you ladies' episodes, and I love when you interview men. And you all talked about on one episode kind of like a launching pad, right? Like, let's start with a good foundation. Let's start here and then grow from there. So I don't need any context. Right now, you're living with someone, I'm not. Let's move on. Next.
Like, what are we gonna do? How's the dynamic for my lifestyle is not working. And a lot of times people think that, especially women who are successful on their own, it's not that we're trying to be like ball busters, but it's like, I need to be able to do these things with, like, why I can do bad by myself. Yeah. So why would I now bring a man into my life that I have to try to like pull up? Like, I don't have time for that.
Too, you know what this has taught me, right? Kind of watching this all play out and watching all the responses and the reactions, it shows me how so many women, and I don't want this for us, so many women of color are desperate in the sense of our dating lives are not full enough. We are taking what we can get. Women are so used to taking what they can get and figuring out how to work with something, or how to make something ugly pretty, or how to make something small big.
We settle all the time because we just got to take. Yeah, exactly.
You have options. You know what the solution is? Open up your mind.
Yes.
Pick somebody else. The grandma told us, pick somebody else. It's okay.
Yes. Open up your mind. And so I know that even with all my non-negotiables, my dating pool is still extremely large. I have not taken out men under a certain height. I have not taken out men with a certain weight. Emotionally stable, financially stable, good man. There's so many men out there like that.
I'm so happy you feel that way, because a lot of women don't feel that way. Yeah. Like, we have one or two bad experiences and then we start to see everything that lens of trauma, and not everybody's bad and all men ain't shit and every man is that. Those two men that you experience. We had someone on our podcast that was a victim of sexual assault, and she said that, you know, it took her a while to start dating, and a part of her healing was realizing that all of the other men that she had ever interacted with were good men. She had one negative experience, and she no longer wanted that to deter her from possibly finding who she ended up finding, which is the love of her life. And it's like, we sometimes are like taking one instance and just blanketing it and saying that everybody's like that. And, you know, when you lead with that, that is what you're going to attract. So it's important to kind of heal from that pain, heal from whatever some man did to you, and then just like understand that that doesn't have to be a pattern or something that you have to deal with. If every single man ain't shit, as Alechia says, then maybe you ain't shit. Like we gotta reevaluate here.
Yeah, that's the key.
And it's okay if you ain't shit, because you know what? There's therapy, there's yoga, there's ashwagandha, however the hell you pronounce it. There are some things that we can do with some tapping. Like we can do some things to help you become a better human.
Yeah.
But everybody can't be ain't shit. And that's for me, like we gotta stop saying, well, all men ain't shit and all men are this. If the one thing y'all get from tonight's episode is whatever you call things, whenever you say something, it's literally like sending it out into the universe and asking it to come back and get it. So I don't say the dating pool is trash or the dating pool has piss in it, because that is not my experience. I date the most amazing men ever. Yes. I mean, ever. Now, we may not work out because maybe there's a non-negotiable, that something that really matters to me that they just don't embody. But all the men that I've dated since my shitty ass ex-husband, sorry, dog. Long as I don't say his name, it's not defamation. My shitty ass ex-husband, they have been really great men, even when it didn't work out, even when I decided to change things or shift things or whatever. I think that there are some amazing dope humans who literally we are just waiting to find each other. If you think of it like that, it's fun. It's an experience. You get to know people, not, oh, it's piss in it. Oh, this is bad. Oh, all men are trash. You're sending out into the universe. Your words are sending out into the universe, and it's going to pull in all the people who are still working on not being trash no more. It's going to pull in all the people who pissing in the dating pool. You're going to pull that in because that is what you keep putting out there. Stop saying that dumb shit. Just because everybody.
There's a book I highly recommend. It's a small book. It's a quick read. I carry it around with me. It's called The Magic Path of Intuition. It's by a woman named Florence Scovel Shinn. The book was written in the 30s. So the writing is a little weird, but it's super digestible. And it just reiterates this idea that, you know, you become what you think about, and you create a life based on the words that you choose. And it's okay to joke every now and then, or make a statement, but always kind of like have that time with yourself, whether it's before bed or in the morning or in the middle of the day, where you backtrack and pour truth into yourself, like those real statements. I also saw that the scenes with Lyndon and I, as they're playing out, you know what I realized? I realized that I was seeing myself outside of myself, right? Because I know who I am, and so I'm watching Corvaya, and don't get me wrong, I definitely brought Corvaya to this experience, but I'm also watching somewhat of a character, you know, that's created based on clips and episodes. I realized that what that was to me, bottom line, was a matter of choice. And then I was condemned for choosing something. So I always try to grab a lesson from an experience. And I think the lesson here, is something I want to share with listeners and viewers, is you have a choice. You can choose. And men choose us all the time. You know how many times a man chose somebody else over me? You can choose, right? And I think when you choose, it doesn't mean that Lyndon is someone I would never date ever. If Lyndon and I cross paths in 6 years and I'm still single and he got his stuff together, sure, maybe, why not? I don't know. I didn't say the man was ugly. I said I don't want to date him. Right. So I just want to encourage women, you know, you don't, that desperation is not real if you don't want it to be. You can make a choice, you can have a preference, and you can move. As long as you can love yourself and date yourself until you meet your match, you can have a choice and a preference. I think it all gets ugly when we start saying, or when we start feeling like I got to date somebody right now. I got to take the first guy that comes my way. Yeah. And I'm not good enough to attract who I am or what I really want. So let me settle for this situation, you know, and turn it into what I want it to be. Like, you have to have more faith in that in your dating life.
Yeah. Do you feel like what else do you feel like is the greatest lesson that you've learned from? Because it's a really interesting experience, I'm sure, to go through. Like, dating itself is like, there's a lot. But to date under this kind of a microscope and this kind of like simulated way, what else do you feel like you've learned that you'll always take with you? Like, do you feel like you grew from it at all, or that anything came out of it for you that you can kind of like take with you for the next chapter of dating?
Oh my gosh, of course. I do feel, and I'm still in the process of this experience and this experiment, because we're still watching, and it hasn't been too long since we filmed. You know, we filmed in the summer, and now I'm in my dating life as someone who's been on TV before. So we'll see what that looks like, you know. But something else that I learned is how time works, you know. If I would have joined this experience or this experiment 6 years ago, I would have been a wreck. I would have been a disaster. We would have been watching a totally different show. Yeah. And I've been so hard on myself over the years to be better, do better, be prettier, be smarter, be hotter, be wiser. You know, I've been so hard on myself just to continue to evolve and improve. But time is the only teacher. Time is what's going to get you where you need to be. You need to have grace. You need to stroke yourself with a feather, not a whip, and give yourself time. And as I'm watching this all play out, I'm so proud of how much I've grown in this time that I've been dating, and I've been single, and I've been in and out of relationships, all of my 20s, essentially. You know, what we're watching is really like somewhat of a product of what my 20s were like. I walked in there confident, sure. Yeah. You know, and I think that right there is a testament to my experiences. And I don't walk away in fear of anything, really, because I know I was true to myself. I wouldn't have been able to be true to myself 8 years ago. Who was even self? I didn't even know her, you know? Mm-hmm. So that's a really big lesson for me. I mean, I think it's super healing for me to see that and to acknowledge that and to recognize that, for sure.
Absolutely. Awesome. Oh, so y'all, the first part of this conversation has been so good. Now we do want to hop into the rapid fire questions, but before we go there, we had some really good Q&A questions that I definitely want to make sure we get into, right? Okay. So now, if for those who are watching us live, if you do have some additional questions, if we have time, we'll definitely make sure we answer them live. You can just put them in wherever you're watching in the chat box, whether you're here on StreamYard with us or on YouTube, however, you can add them there. We'll see them, and then we will answer them for you. But so now, our first question. So the question is, I've been dating a guy for 3 months. We have yet to make it official. How do I get him to take the next step with me? Now I'm gonna leave it open for the floor, okay? And whoever wants to answer can answer. I know what mine is, but y'all can. Since I've read it, I'll let someone else.
Danny? I mean, I posted something today. It's so funny that this was a question, because I posted something today where the lady was like, if he is attention, he's cheating. If he is not calling you, he's not interested. If he only calls you when he wants something, he's using you. Like, men speak with their actions and not their words. So for me, sis, I just feel like you're not supposed to make him take the next step with you. He's supposed to want to do that on his own. And if he's not wanting to do that and you try to force that, it's not going to end well. It's just he's just going to string you along. I call it a Pokemon, like a pocket monster, where once men realize how desperate you are, they just put you in their pocket. and take you out and play with you and then put you back in their pocket until the real bitch come along that they really want to be with. You know, like I just feel like if you have to feel like you have to get him there, like you have to do all these things and who you are and how you show up and the essence that you carry is not enough for him to want to do that. I say cut it. That's just me. I don't feel like I have to make you want to be with me. Like, no, like I'm amazing. Like that's enough. I'm not doing nothing.
Yes. I have a little bit of a different answer. I definitely agree with everything you said, Dani. But to add on to that, right? It's so funny on TikTok, right? I started this TikTok. My sister was 12 years old at the time. She told me to get a TikTok. I get it. You got to listen. They know what they're talking about. She tells me to get a TikTok. I post like 4 videos. They go viral. And I start experimenting and diversifying my content and posting different things. I'm having fun with it. I love creating content. And I noticed that all of my viral videos are about relationships. I'm like, why are people so infatuated with my relationship advice? And I noticed a trend. It's what I do at work, right? We recognize trends, we recognize what's working, and we try to recreate that to get more hits, to get more money, all that stuff. So I'm doing that on my personal profile, and I realized that all of the relationship videos that had gone viral were me empowering women to speak up, right? So I would add to that, ask, just have the conversation. But the caveat is you got to be prepared that if the response is not the response that you want to hear, you need to walk away. So get yourself right, prepare, maybe take some notes, do a little praying, you know what I'm saying? Do whatever you need to do so that you walk into that conversation a strong woman and have that conversation and ask that question. And if the dude says no or doesn't give you the response you're looking for, walk away, keep it moving. But I would never tell a woman to walk away. 90 days is not that long. Don't walk away from it before having the conversation. See where his mind is at. Give him that. You know, you've already spent 90 days with him. Give him that, you know, allow him to express his thoughts or his feelings about it. And like I said, if it's not the answer that you want and it's not the trajectory that you want for yourself, definitely kick him out.
but even if it's not, like, I agree with you that 90 days is not long enough to necessarily make it official, but don't you think he should have provided some sense of clarity and security for her where she's not guessing? Like, I feel like men know within about 5 minutes or so if they really see potential or if they see this going somewhere. Of course, things can change through dates or through events, arguments, things that can happen. But just about every man I've ever spoken to is like, oh, I know what this is within 2 minutes, if I'm going to do something about it or not. So it's like, I feel like men know what they want, and it should be obvious to her that whether, like, he should be making it apparent enough what his intentions are, even if he's not saying it explicitly. You know what I'm saying?
That's ideal. I think that's ideal.
Yeah.
I do
think ideal. However, sometimes you are dealing with humans. So here's my thing.
Yeah.
So the guy I'm dating now, from the beginning, literally first date, we're at the game, watching the game, and it's floor seats because thank the Lord he already knew, and I didn't even have to ask him where were the seats because I was so afraid. Listen, y'all say what you want. I
can't just sit anywhere.
I like men of means. Like it makes me so excited to know you are a man of means. And so from the first date, he was like, hey, I just want to be very clear with you to understand. I only date with intention. I'm dating you to marry you. I like you. I this is what I want. Yes, it'll take time for us to build up to that, but this is what I want, right?
Right.
So for me, I've never had to ask him, where is this going? What does this look like? However, if you are in a position, and this person is in a position to where, okay, it's been 3 months and you're unclear. First of all, I don't believe in making myself exclusive to any man who has not been super duper. And I really honestly don't believe in being exclusive until you're engaged to be married. However, I do understand that everybody's not, they don't got that. And that's totally fine. But for me, I don't believe in going exclusive with somebody who has not made it clear that they want to be exclusive with me and that they have plans for where we want to go together. And then taking actionable steps for what that looks like. That's number one. So sis, you should be dating multiple people. Dating does not mean fucking, sucking, or doing all the things. Dating means just that. You are going on dates, you are getting to know them, you are deciding and figuring out what you like about them, what you don't like about you guys' interaction, so that you can make an informed decision as to whether or not y'all like each other. I'm not gonna lie, when I first started dating the person I'm dating now, I was absolutely dating multiple people. Absolutely. We were talking about, well, when is our anniversary gonna be? And he threw out the day, oh, well, from our first date, and we were talking about that, and I was like, oh nah, because I was definitely dating then. So I was living my best life. Like, as women, we got to stop closing ourselves down. And Danny, you said all the time, planning an entire marriage, future kids right after the first date. Like, sis, pick somebody else too. Not somebody else to do it, but somebody else too. TOO. Have you some multiples. So that's mine. I agree with what you both said, because I also too be okay with, if you do have to have the conversation, don't ask them, where are we going? Ask them questions like, hey, when you look 5 years into the future, what do you see for your life?
That's gonna really get them. It's that's what's gonna get them. When you know their goals in 90 days, I'm hoping that you know what he's passionate about, what he's interested in. You gotta ask him, do you see me fitting into that? Do you see yourself with me 2 years from now, a year from now? What does that look like? That's really gonna get him. Because if you ask him, do you want to be in a relationship with me? A man could say yeah and drop you 90 more days from then. You know what I'm saying? But when you start asking those real life questions, like, do I fit into this life that you've seen for yourself? They're either going to be very clear about their answer. They're going to be very, they're going to lie, and you're going to see that and feel that, or they're not going to know what to say at all.
Yeah. And that's okay. When you ask them, what does their life look like in those 5 years, if they don't even try to bring you in, it's not even a, depending on where we are, I would love to, if we're still together, I would love, for us to be married, for us to be this, then okay, then you can, like, okay, well, I'm still not gonna stop dating all these other people, because listen, we love a good date and experience. We like humans. But you can know, okay, so this one is moving, moving a little faster. And in my experience with dating, because when I say I would date a lot, they always tell you what it is if they're really interested. There has never, ever been a man who was really interested in me that I had to guess. And you want a motherfucker who likes you, who fuck with you, who does not want you to be confused about where this is going or what is happening. So when you choose a motherfucker who really likes you, you don't have to ask those type of questions, because they are, hey, listen, I'm in this for the long run. Or, hey, I want to experience this with you. When you get that energy, that's the energy that you can rest into. And because I want us to rest into that, this is just my personal opinion, don't go for the dude who you have to ask them, where is this going? Because he don't like you. He don't like you like that. Not for real. No disrespect. That's just my opinion and my belief. You could take it what you want. If it's a bone, spit it out. If you feel it's a little meat there, keep the meat. But in my experience, and y'all, when I say I date a lot, I've had first dates where men flew me to the Bahamas on our first date. I didn't have sex because we were dating, y'all. We were just dating, but flew me to the Bahamas. Like, I date a lot. And in my dating experience, if a man wants you, likes you, you ain't got to guess. You don't got to guess.
Yeah.
It's evident. Okay. I know that was a little long-winded, y'all.
Second that.
Okay, so the second question is, I met a guy I really liked, and I slept with him after the first date. Touch my purse. We're still in communication, but now I'm afraid he won't take me seriously. Did I give it up too fast? We'll have Corvaya to answer that one.
I have a tough love answer for that. You're gonna have to wait and find out, sis. Wait and find out. That's all you can do. I hate when we get into our heads and we're trying to figure something out, and no one can give you that answer. What you're gonna do is eat and own your choice, and find out. Let it ride out and let it play out the way it's to. And no guilt that needs to be felt. If the man, I truly believe that. I don't want to say the man that's for you. I do believe that we might have 1 or 2 or 3 soulmates in a lifetime. But when a man is true about you, is supposed to be in your life, whether it's for a season or whether it's forever, there's nothing about you that's going to be too much or too little for him. This man is fireproof. So if a man is looking at you like, oh, she already gave it up, I'm good on her, then he wasn't for you anyway. I'd rather you have sex with him early than later because he was going to drop you anyway.
Truth time.
Love you though.
Ooh, that ain't the truth. Danny, what about you? What are your thoughts on?
I agree. I definitely feel like that's not always a deal breaker for men, and I think that society kind of has us thinking that it means a lot more than it actually does. You know, like you'd just be so surprised at what's really happening between men and women as opposed to what we see happening on TV or what we see happening in social media. I just know that a lot of times people are going off energy and vibes. And when I've had conversations with men about this very topic, a lot of times the answer is more so about, did the vibe and the energy make sense for that to happen? Or did it seem like it was a show of desperation, or like men, like Alechia talks a lot about, like when you bleed in the water and the sharks start coming, like they smell that blood. Like men are natural hunters, and like they're trying to get something, and they can kind of tell, like desperation has a scent. And a lot of times as women, we don't realize that when we're desperate and when we're lonely and when we're just kind of waiting to get what we can get. Men know, and we're not conscious of it, but they are very aware, and men do not get enough credit for how intuitive they are, how self-aware a lot of them are. Like they be on point and they know exactly who to take advantage of. There are brilliant women that's been played by losers. Okay, so let's not get it twisted. Like they're not smart, like they're not stupid. Like you have to start getting some of those kind of notions out of your head. Like men are dumbass people who are not intuitive. They know what they're doing a lot of the times, and we got to stop letting them play the ignorance card and the dumb man card, because that's not real. And, you know, from my experience, I think it's just an energy thing. If the vibes are right, then usually, regardless of what happens on the first date, it should carry over, and you'll have your experience with it. It may not be forever, but I don't think he's necessarily going to end it because of that, depending on, did he feel like in that short space of time, he somewhat earned that from you, and he was, you know, like he felt worthy enough and he felt honored that you were willing to give that to him? Or did he feel like he was able to take advantage of you because you were weak and desperate in the moment? I think it depends.
Yeah. Y'all said it all. I mean, to be honest, I mean, I've done it and the person married me. So
Chrissy Teigen, John Legend's wife, she said that she slept with him on the first date and they're married. I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of women who won't admit it, but they slept with their husbands on the first date and they're married.
Time is such a gift. Let it play out. Time, just time, you know. The less. I think it's great that she or you asked the question. I think it's great that you're thinking about it and that you're aware and that you're curious, but don't obsess over it.
Yeah, you're grown. Like you made that decision. Like whatever he decides is on him. Like you made that decision for you.
And if you like him and you're thinking about, you had sex with him on Saturday, right? And you're thinking about him on Thursday, call him and say what's up. See how he's gonna react. See how he's gonna respond to you, right? I think we got to get out of, when we're dating. When I think about dating, well, I try to stay away from the games and these scripts and these codes and these blueprints. I don't think the rules always apply to us and who we're dating. I don't think the rules that maybe apply to this strong Black man apply to this handsome Turkish man. Like the rules don't exist. So try not to obsess over it. Try not to beat yourself up about it. Like I said, eat it and own your choice and let time tell you if he's going to rock with you or not.
Yeah.
There you go.
I love that. I love it. Especially that eating on your choice. I mean, ooh, that's a thing. That is a gem. Okay. And so now our last question is, this person said, I do a lot of online dating and I don't like to spend a lot of time on first dates, but I'm meeting a lot of low effort men. How can I go on better dates without wasting my time?
It's a good question. Oh, that's a good question, y'all. Danny, Alechia?
So, and this is just a me thing. Um, I have a policy that I don't do coffee dates. I don't do tea dates. And then I had a dude try my entire soul in New York, and he took me on an ice cream date. So I had to add that to the list. I don't do.
What are you, 5?
Yeah. So for me, I also don't now do ice cream dates.
To ice cream dates.
I don't do ice cream dates. The reason I won't do those as first dates is because, and again, everybody gets to choose their, make your own decision as to what works for you. I like the effort of a man planning something. I do not believe that, oh, well, men aren't good planners. No bullshit. If they can plan how to get the next piece of pussy without putting in a lot of effort, I promise you they can plan a date. They've got mamas, and if they don't got a mama, they got a sister. If they don't got a sister, they got a homegirl or a cousin or somebody that they can call. And if they're excited about going out with you, they will plan a date. It don't even got to be nothing deep, dark, or mystical. Hey, there's this really dope new restaurant, would love to take you. Or hey, there's this amazing poetry spot. I heard that you like poetry, so I want to take you to this cool poetry spot. For me, effort it's a must. And a tea or a coffee or an ice cream, that ain't enough effort. I don't want to go and walk by the seashells on the seashore on the beach unless we've gone to dinner first at maybe Joya Beach. If y'all in Miami, y'all know Joya Beach.
Yeah.
Then okay, we can go there after we've gone to eat and we've talked and I felt your vibe. So in my opinion, if you want to go on better dates or have better experiences, you're going to have to get invested in the fact that you're going to have to spend real time. Because ain't nobody trying to take you out to some real fun experience and also only spend 30 minutes at the math ain't math then. That's just
I think that's what I hear from people who online date a lot is like you're dating a lot. Like it's more quantity over quality. So it's like they're just kind of trying to like the same way they swipe on the phone is the same way they kind of swipe in real life. Like that swiping translates into the real world. So I can understand the like notion of like I'm not really trying to like. So I think you just have to maybe get more intentional with what it is you're really looking for. Like if you're really looking for something real and you're looking for love and you want love to find you, then you are going to have to not be a low effort woman as well. Like it just low effort to me too. Like if you just want like a quick in and out date, like I'm not sure what you expect. Like if you don't want to really spend a lot of time on the day, where is he supposed to take you? Like I wouldn't know where else to take you. If you're like, hey, I have time between my meetings, like I'm sure that's how you have to present it. Like, oh, I have time between my meetings, or I have a little bit of time on this time. So I'm sure a man is just trying to like squeeze himself in. And if you're kind of making him feel like he has to kind of squeeze himself into your life, then I think you're going to continue getting men that are squeezing you into theirs. So I would definitely, get intentional and make dating fun for you. Like it doesn't have to feel like such a chore, like I said, or like, oh, another day today. Like when I was dating, it was like, oh, I love like give me a few days in the weekend. Like what are we doing? Gone on 2 dates in a night. Like where are we going? So it's like I love
two different men. You have to specify.
Okay, with 2 different men. I was leaving one date and one man, I was pulling out of the parking spot and a man that was pulling into the parking spot stopped me and asked me to go out, and I did. And
I love that.
Yeah, it was awesome. He was like, oh my God, like, where are you going? I was like, because he like waved me down. So I thought like I hit something, and he was like, where you going? And I was like, home. He was like, oh, come grab a drink with me. I was like, oh, okay. He was cute. But like, I just think that openness and just remember, and I don't know why women feel this obligation sometimes to stay, but if you're on a dinner date and you don't like it, you can leave. Back to Corvaya's point of choice.
Yeah.
Like if the vibes are weird, if you feel if it's just dry as a Sahara, okay to have like for me, I had, and my good girlfriends know this, like if I text you a little something, like you need to call me and have an emergency now. I've had that. I've done that before where I was at a guy's house. I started feeling uncomfortable. I went to the bathroom to freshen up and I text my homegirl like SOS. And she called me boohoo crying and I put her on speakerphone and she was like, can you just please come? Like, I don't know what's going to happen. I was like, okay, I'm on my way.
Okay, I have like a totally different perspective to all. I don't disagree with what you ladies said. And in fact, a few years ago, I was doing exactly what you ladies were like suggesting. And I thought the same exact way.
Okay.
I realized that online dating is a different beast. It's a different,
and
you cannot approach, in my opinion, traditional dating, right? You can't approach it as if it's traditional dating. It's really, 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 really not. Yeah. And I think that as a woman, you can do yourself a disservice by allowing men whose profile seems cool or who talk a good game on the phone to take you out on dates, and now you're spending 3 to 4 to 5 hours and probably a little money with the gas and the getting ready. If you're anything like me, you're buying an outfit. It can do you a disservice to do that over and over and over again for a bunch of duds. And online dating, let's just keep it real, you're going to get a lot of duds. It's going to be 8 duds out of 10 for sure. And the remaining 2, one is secretly married and the other one may be eligible. So
I have a question, Corvaya, about that because I'm not as experienced in online dating. I don't think Alechia is either.
Oh yes,
when
I am.
That, I think she sounds a little more experienced than you do.
I've been online dating for a while.
Yeah. Alechia, you be bumping into people at the supermarket. Like, I don't think it's the same. But I wanted to kind of know, like, is there a way to kind of have a better idea? Like, people aren't talking and FaceTiming prior to that. Like, for me, it's like the little dabbling I've done in online dating, I was kind of able to see way before we got to a physical interaction whether or not I was going to be interested. So is that not happening when you're doing it a lot?
And I wanted to get like to her question, which is how does she's still going to online date. She wants to online date. Yeah. She just wants to figure out how to weed out the low effort men. And I think there's a way to do that. I think it's based on questions that you ask. So so once you match with a man, let's say on Hinge or on Bumble, and on Hinge, you know, he's going to reach out to you. He's going to say, hey, how are you? How was your day? I was going through a phase where I didn't respond to that intentionally because you sent that to so many women today. Figure something else out or you're going to get this from me. So that's a little tactic that you can do. And it's not that you're coming up like, because they have no idea why you're not responding back, right? It just makes them think twice. Like, okay, she didn't hit me back. It's been 6 hours. Let me ask her another question. Like, oh, I really love that photo in your profile. Where did you take it? Do you like to travel? Now, once they start asking intentional questions, now you got more of an idea of what type of effort man he is, right? Mm-hmm. The second thing is once you guys get to a point where you are going on a date or he asks you to go on a date, make sure that he asks for your number. Don't plan a date off of the app, right? Mm-hmm. Make sure that he asks for your number. And if he doesn't ask, I think it's totally okay to give it to him. And what you're doing there is you're setting the tone for how you want to be treated, right?
You put the ball in his court. Like, okay,
he wants to take me on a date. He's expressed that, hey, I would love to meet up with you and meet you in person. Okay, well, here's my number. Now, when he has your number, there's another level unlocked. You can FaceTime him. See if he really looked like what he shows online.
Yes.
You can hear his voice. You can talk to him. Now you guys can have phone calls. And I always encourage a FaceTime or a phone call before. Yes. It's a safety thing before going on a date with someone you met online. And I think the third thing is when it comes, and I think this is so important. When dating, if a man says, I would love to see you house Friday night, instead of saying, yes, that works for me, say, yes, what would you like to do? Or say, yes, where would you like to spend our time on Friday night? When you're asking questions like that, you're coming off as sweet and polite and curious, but what you're really doing is forcing him to make a fucking plan and figure this shit out. And if he doesn't, you're not going, you know?
Exactly.
Yeah. So I think, so I've spoken on this before, so I have to own it. It is my real life. I will 100% take a 15-minute coffee date over a fucking red carpet, 2-hour, 3-hour dinner. I'm not wasting that type of time. And I think that that 15-minute coffee date is not, it's a vibe check, but we've already checked each other's vibe on the phone. So now it's just it's an in-person human type of like, do I like you and do I not? And sometimes those 15-minute coffee dates have lasted 2 hours, and then we've had incredible dates after that because we just couldn't stop talking to each other. And sometimes those 15-minute coffee dates or 45-minute coffee dates have been a fucking business meeting. Like, oh, okay, yeah, I'll keep in touch. I'm going to connect with you on LinkedIn. I don't ever want to see this man again. And I think that for career women, I think it's a good way to meet people, but also not waste too much time. It's just the way you go about it. You know, you definitely, like Danny said, don't want to come off like you're a low effort woman. And, you know, but I do think it helps. Online dating is just such a beast. I met a girl on Bumble BFF. I moved to a new city. I moved to West Palm Beach years ago in 2016. I was on Bumble BFF, and I used it as a way to recruit models for my online jewelry store that I used to run. And I was just swiping through to find some beautiful women and then reaching out to them and saying, hey, I'm Corvaya. I'm a local jewelry designer, this, and this, whatever. So I meet this chick. She comes to model my jewelry, and we end up being friends for the next 3.5 years. She was an avid Bumble dater. I'm talking about 3 to 5 dates a week with 3 to 5 different men. She was in her late 20s, a virgin looking for marriage. Could you imagine? Could you imagine how difficult her dating life was and how many men she had to meet before she met somebody that was like, you know, for her? But I learned from her, and I realized that, I'm not going on 2 to 3 dinner dates a week. You're wasting mad time. You know what I'm saying? With so many men that are just not, for you. What is low effort woman? What is a low effort woman? I love that question. Just a chick that expect a man to do everything. Do something.
Yeah, and I also think to a woman that's just not open or inviting, like a woman that just like is very closed off and just wants to take and not really give. And I don't necessarily mean like, oh, you need to reciprocate financially, but I do think that like men can kind of feel when you're very people, not just men, because I can feel it with girls too. Like if I'm wanting a friendship, like if you're closed off, if you're not just like a person that seems like they're really wanting to reciprocate as opposed to just here to just take. I think that is a low effort. I think a man should also feel wanted, and they are people too, guys. Like they should feel respected, and they want to feel like someone's interested in them too. I think it should be an exchange. And if it's not that, I think that is low effort. So if you're just kind of go on a date and talk about yourself the whole time, like how are you really getting to know somebody else?
Yeah, like be interested in them too. Like it's not just like that's
all about you.
Yeah, you might need a little more therapy, and that's okay. That is okay. just a little more therapy, because if you're going to be in a relationship with someone else and not just yourself, and listen, there are women who have married themselves because they love themselves just that much. I am not hating on that, but if you're gonna date somebody else and be in a relationship with somebody else, you're gonna have to get to know the other person. So ask intuitive questions. If you don't know how to ask questions or what questions you should ask, I promise you can Google it. Top questions to ask when dating to marry. I promise you, if you Google that, there have been all types of articles that have been written that have all different types of questions. You don't have to figure this out alone. I promise there's a better way.
For sure.
Yeah. Well, that was awesome. Thank you. I love those tips for online dating, Corvaya, because it's happening, and you know that's the world we live in now. So we do have to adjust, and that's another thing too. Like if you are single and you're not online dating and you're not finding luck, kind of what we say in the real world, even though online dating does translate to the real world. But if you're not bumping into Prince Charming at Whole Foods, like maybe open your mind to dating online. Like everybody is not a serial killer, guys. Everybody is not catfishing you. Like
take those dating profiles seriously. A lot of how men approach you online is based on your dating profile. If you feel like it's corny to put like a whole bio, or you feel like it's corny to post that one photo of you with a friend, you're not done up all the way, that's going to determine what type of men reach out to you. So
yeah, the energy, it's all in, you're giving out the energy even in a picture. So be open-minded and go to different places and try to see if maybe online dating works. If you're like, I have a friend that she thinks online dating is like she's gonna run into a serial killer, and I'm like, okay.
My last relationship lasted 2 years. 2 years
online dating,
and I met him online. Yeah, I met him on Bumble. It was 2 years long. I think for me, if I could go back, the only thing I would have done differently, it had nothing to do with the fact that we met online. The only thing I would have done differently is I would have walked away maybe after a year. I feel like after that year mark, I think I knew that this wasn't the person. I waited another year. But in terms of us meeting online, there was the only quirky thing was that I did notice that he was shy and almost hesitant about telling his family. Like we would go out, and he was a country boy, so we would go to where his family lives, and the kids would be playing in the park, and one of his cousins would come outside and be like, "So where'd you guys meet?" And he would like kind of get stuck, and that made me feel uncomfortable. But I had to be human about it, understand that like it's not for everybody.
It's different. It's different compared to what people were doing even just 10 years ago.
Great dude, great person, great family, super hot, super attractive, great guy. So it wasn't for me, but he'll meet somebody online and he'll be the winner for sure.
Yeah, so just, there are good men. And if you are feeling afraid or you feel like it's a safety issue, like don't get in their cars, meet.
No. Oh my gosh.
Share your location with a friend so that she knows where you are. Tell your friends that you're going on a date with this person. Send a picture. Like there are safety measures that you can take when you're online dating to just feel a little more secure. Obviously, meet them in a public place. Like follow your gut, follow your intuition. So many of us ignore our intuition and end up in unfortunate situations when if we just kind of listen to ourselves. Like I hear so many women be like, "Oh, something told me not to do it. Something told me not to go, and I still went." And then some bullshit happened. Go with your gut. Put some safety measures in place. And online dating is just as risky or not risky as anything else.
Yep, for sure. Absolutely. Oh, this has been so good. So we want to make sure we're not keeping you here for forever. So we're going to slide through. I would love it if you can, because listen, I love women. This conversation is it for me. So let's, if we can, go through some of the like dating strategies. And then if we absolutely have time, we can get to the rapid fire. But if not, this has been so good, we don't even need it at this point. So let's maybe try and wrap in the next 15 minutes. How y'all feeling about that?
That works for me.
Okay. You see y'all consent in a nice, healthy way in all the things. All the things. So we always like to do what we call dating strategies, because for so many people, they feel as though they just cannot, they don't know where to meet men, how to, once they've met them, nurture the relationship and keep it going. Way too many women, they meet a man and they are just super accessible every single time. How to take it from the first date to the situationship to the girlfriend to the wife. They don't know how to date well. So let's just go through those the first one, which is where to meet men.
Where do you think, Corvaya? Where are some places that you think are a good places?
I got some places and they work. I think we're all in a space where a lot of us are working from home. Don't work from home. Go to a hotel lobby, go to an elevated coffee shop, go to a nice cocktail bar that has Wi-Fi. They're always very inviting to people being in their space. Just make sure you have a budget, right? Make sure you have a budget for the week as you're going to these places so that you're buying something, you're spending your money there at their business and build relationships with the owners. That is an amazing place to meet people. I also always stand on networking. If you are networking properly, you're going to be invited to high-level events. So it may be a gala, it may be a charity event, it may be an event for a good cause. Also a great place to meet men because they're out networking and they're meeting people. And a lot of those galas, a lot of those charity events have men who own businesses who are spending money because they care about this particular cause, or maybe they just want to write it off in their taxes. That's not your business, but they are definitely there. Either way, I would say probably the third one is definitely through people. It's so funny. I have a beautiful girlfriend who's in an amazing relationship and love them to death as a couple. Like as a duo, they're just like everything. It elevated my friendship with her even because I see a new side of her. She's just a happier woman. I tell him all the time, you might be the man that introduces me to my husband. And I say it in a joking way, But I'm dead serious. How did Meghan Markle meet Prince Harry? Not to say we all want a Prince Harry, but she met him because she was set up on a blind date with a chick she met at yoga. So definitely keep your circle up to date on your dating life. Let them know when you're interested or what you're looking for. When your friends have successful, healthy relationships, 9 times out of 10, there's going to be somebody in that man's circle who may be eligible and may be a good match for you. So
Ooh, I love those. I love those. Danny, what about you?
Well, we did like a bingo, a where to meet men bingo that I just loved,
I love that. Yeah, that was really cute.
and you guys can definitely check that out. It's on the Trigger AF podcast page, and it's just so informative. It literally gives you like 25 places or so to meet different men. I love the one like, so I say this, but I don't know if this exists everywhere, but in Miami, we have luxury car washes that have like restaurants attached to them, and it's a thing here.
I've never been to one. I have to try that out.
Oh my gosh. So it's really great. They usually have like healthy or like just decent restaurants where you can grab like a bite while you wait for your car to be washed. And you see to pull up and you can kind of see what's happening. And you see a lot of men there working as their cars are getting washed, because with certain cars, you cannot put them through a regular car wash. They have to be washed. Okay, baby. So because of that, they are there hanging out because it takes longer for their cars to be washed. So that's one place that I think is great. They are out there by themselves. Another place I feel like to meet men that is just, I think you have to be really intentional about it. But I think like the bar of a very nice restaurant, going there by yourself. Like when I was dating, I used to go to bars alone a lot by myself, just dress up and just like do me for a little bit. I know a lot of times as women, we feel like we need to go out in packs, but sometimes, there's a mix of energy when you're doing that. And yes, your homegirls are great, but y'all are not always on the same page as to what kind of man you're looking for.
Yeah.
So I definitely think just maybe one wingman, like just you and one homegirl is really good, max 3. I typically just don't go out with more than 3 women at a time at that time. But I think just going on a date by yourself, sitting at the bar, ordering whatever you want, just doing you, that just reeks of confidence and sexiness and just like, I'm going to be here and I don't care who's here and I don't care who's not here. You'll find that men are just like, you're just like when like a fly is attracted to a light, like men just swarm you and they're also curious as to why you're here by yourself. And like I love that.
Those online dates, if you're gonna meet a man at a bar, for example, go early, go an hour earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Expose yourself. You know what I'm saying? Before you have a meetup, you're already dressed. You're already dressed up. Go ahead and go an hour and a half before. Have a drink. Limit yourself. Know how much you're drinking, obviously, but you can kill 2 birds in 1 stone by doing that.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I love it. That's a good one. Yeah, I love, so I used to do that a lot and I found it to be very successful, especially if you're in like a metro, because not everybody's in like a city where there's a lot happening all the time.
Yeah.
So just find those places. Another really good place, my last place, is like the hotel. Like if you're at like a nice hotel, if you're in a place that has hotels around it a lot, like hotel pools, like when you're doing a spa day, don't just go get a massage and leave. Like go to the pool, go eat, go to the lobby, like kind of linger around that hotel space. Because usually if you're not like an avid massage spa person, usually if you are getting a massage at a spa, you typically have access to their grounds for the entire day.
Yep.
And sometimes they'll comp your meal, they'll comp you some drinks, like,
Mm-hmm.
kind of milk that and just see who's there. A lot of times, a lot of men who are traveling and working and, they may be in and out. He may not be here forever, but he might be a real good time. And he might just kind of, clear some cobwebs out real fast because he's here. But, I find that nice hotels, obviously, tend to be a really good place to kind of meet people because, if you're there, you're in an environment, it just tends to people tend to be more relaxed in those spaces.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And what I always like to do too. So I am a strategist. Anyone who knows me intimately knows I'm very strategic, super organized. And so I like men of means. I like men who got some shit going on. And so what I would always do, especially in cities where people feel like, oh, nothing happens as much or whatever, I would take a look at the conferences that are coming in town
Yeah.
to see which types of conferences I knew would have men that my type of man that I want to date. So if I knew it was like a millionaire entrepreneurship conference coming, I would see, okay, what hotel are they at, or what venue are they at? And then I would go, to the, if I know this the let out time, great. The let out, I'll go to the let out.
This reminds me of the story about, I don't know if you got, Dan, I hope this is the right couple, but how Vanessa Bryant met Kobe, God rest his soul. So it was something like that. It was like a let out time, knew a hotel, knew a room, knew a floor.
Listen, go for the let out. And you have to make sure
a lot of women do that. And you out here thinking that Prince Charming is just gonna fall into your lap. And a lot of women are out here being very intentional and very strategic, knowing when the baseball players are coming in town, knowing when these guys are coming in town. You're like, well, how they get them? There's a strategy.
The problem is, I think it's great for us to be strategic, and I like that. I like women doing that.
Yeah.
And I've just noticed that the women doing it who are really gold digging are ruining it for the women doing it to meet quality.
Everybody.
Now men with money per se are meeting women and automatically on the defense. Like, hold on. Are you trying to scam me? Are you trying to rob me? Are you trying, you know what I'm saying? It's really, really weird nowadays. Because I think women have taken this like city girl thing very, very far.
Yeah. I'm not a city girl, just for the record. But I'm a damn good.
No, you see the difference. You're clearly communicating the difference.
Yeah.
But you're right though, especially with social media, it definitely changes that dynamic where, maybe you want a certain kind of guy, but I do want to like him. I do want something real, as opposed to a girl that's only looking for that and can fake the funk as long as she needs to get what she wants. Like, there's definitely a difference. And no matter, and Alicia and I say this all the time because we have this often, is like, gold digging and being with a man just for his money is wrong. It's not okay. Like, if there is connection with that human being, if your intentions are not good, it will backfire. It will not end well. It will not go well. Maybe he can grow on you like a fungus, but 9 times out of 10, most women who are in those situations are very unhappy and miserable, and everything that glitters isn't gold. The grass is not green on the side, all the things. Like, you can have it all. You can have a man that has money, that you are in love with, that has good character, that is emotionally available. Like, all of those things can coexist in one person. You don't have to settle for a man that just has money. Like, that's not enough to sustain you for the rest of your life.
100%.
No, it's not. And that too, it's basically what you're doing when you only go after men for money is you're telling yourself that you don't trust you enough to create what you need or to provide what you need. That you believe that you are not only insignificant, but that you cannot bring enough to the table to support and sustain you.
Yeah. You want to feel alive. I think. When I wake up, and if you're ever in a situation where you're compromising yourself for something in return, you're not going to wake up feeling good. And that's a life that you've created and you have to sort of deal with. And I don't, it's just not a good space to be in.
Not at all. Not at all. Ooh, this is good. Okay, so since y'all gave some good ones, let's see what we do next. Okay. How do you nurture the relationship once you got it? What is nurturing like? All right, so we met.
How you lock them down? Corvaya? What are the steps? How you clank? What do you do?
My mom and I were just talking about this actually. My mom is, when it comes to Ready to Love, my mother is reading the comments, she's watching the reviews, the YouTube videos, and I'm like, Mom, just stop, and she's getting offended for me. I've stayed away from it, but she's getting offended for me. She's like, they don't know you. What about this and what about that? But we were just talking about that, and because she sees a lot of YouTube personalities or YouTube commenters speaking about how I just want a man for money and I don't bring anything to the table, she has reminded me of how she has seen me pour into my ex-boyfriend or a couple of my exes. And one of the things that she brought to my attention that I didn't even think about was that I am a note writer. I am a letter writer. So when I started dating my ex, he would, we had separate cars, obviously, but he worked near where I lived. And so we met in that area, but he lived about an hour and a half out. He was in law enforcement. So a lot of times they live like really far from where they work because of safety and stuff like that.
Okay.
But I would, if we weren't going on a date or if we didn't plan on spending time together, I would make him, he loves peanut butter and jelly sandwich. So I would make him a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, 2 or 3, cut them in half. I'll put a little note in there and I would take it to work for him. And I knew he had lunch already. I knew he wasn't expecting it. And honestly, he probably didn't really need it. But my mom saw me doing that. She felt like I was doing too much. But he would tell you to this day, it changed his life and his thinking about what to expect from women. I think he saw it as very thoughtful. So I knew that that was one of the reasons why he fell in love with me, or he fell in love with the type of person that I was.
Yeah.
I was doing these things that nowadays people would consider corny, or I was doing things that a lot of women who are in our age range would feel like, oh, it's too much. You know, I am a big advocate of expressing the love that you feel. So I think that not, being scared to throw around I love you, or being scared to express love too early or too soon is a trash idea, is a trash concept. I think if you embody love and you are love, it's okay to kind of express that love early on. And the man can do with it what he wants. And, the sooner the better to me. I tie that back to my Ready to Love experience. It's so interesting. I've had conversations with the men after the episodes, right? And they're even offended for me. They're like, yo, you never asked me about my finances. Like, you never asked me like this, and that. And they started like telling me things probably to reassure me. They probably thought I was home, like in a corner, bawling my eyes out. But some of the men, Anthony being one of them, he's been great to me. He's just been reassuring me about what he saw in me from our conversation dates. And I think that my thoughtfulness is like a huge standout in terms of like why men may fall for me or be drawn to me.
I love that. I love that.
For me, it's creating a safe space. I think that a lot of men just don't have safe spaces, especially with women. A lot of times when they are vulnerable, it can get weaponized. They can be seen as weak for kind of showing us their underbelly. So I think being a safe space as much as you can, because it's not easy and we're not taught how to do that. Most of us we don't grow up seeing 2-parent households, or if we do, we hear men being talked about in certain ways or talked to certain ways. So I just think respect actually is number one, because women want to be adored and men want to be respected. So you do have to respect them. They take it way more seriously than we do. I don't know why. I don't know what the biology is. But when a man feels disrespected, like they just can't. They just
might be over from there.
Like it's just hard to come back from that. So just keep that in mind. And if you are able to come back from it, it does kind of create like a cycle and a tone in your relationship of disrespect. And then he's going to start reciprocating that. So just respect and being that safe space for him where he can kind of show you that he is soft and he can show you that love. They want that attention. They want you to rub their head. They're like little babies. Like when you get them for real, you're like, oh my God, like this is like a child. Like
the more you express love and vulnerability to a healthy man, the more you're going to win in that situation.
Yeah, they love it. They eat it up. Everybody wants to feel loved and heard and seen and appreciated. And I think if you can do that for the right man, just like you said, I think that it will be an organic and a natural transition into the next steps if you guys are compatible.
Yeah,
absolutely. For me, in my belief is, I'm a firm believer in see how they talk future with you. Like, what does that look like? Especially if let's say for women who do want to get married and they want to, have children and grow and build, businesses or just grow and build legacies, build amazing homes, like homes as in, your actual household. See how they talk to you about that. Is it a conversation that they are considering you, where you guys are having tough conversations and questions about, what are these finances looking like? If you know that yours aren't up to par, then immediately talk, okay, what's the strategy that we are going to put into place to get you to where we need to be? Because if, let's say, we decide we're going to get married, your credit affects mine. Yeah. Especially if we buying houses together. Like, allow yourself to be open to the fact that we may talk all of this future planning and everything else, and it could not work out. And still there's a beautiful lesson and a beautiful experience that I gained from it. If you go into it with that type energy, it frees you from the pressure. And I get it, because I'm one of those too. Like, well, what are we doing? How are we doing? Like, what's the steps? Okay, on September the 10th, we said this, and okay, now it's January 9th.
Oh, girl, yes.
Listen, this type A personality be type A-ing.
Yes.
So, but if you allow yourself to just listen to what they're saying, because men who like you, they want to talk.
And believe them. Like, when people show you who they are, believe them. Like, don't hear what you want to hear, even though he's saying, I'm not ready for something serious, and you think you can change his mind. Not how it works, sis. You cannot change his mind. There's nothing you can do. There's not enough pussy in the world you can throw at him to change his mind if he has already decided that this is not it for him. Again, he might make you a pocket monster, but he's not going to commit to you if he just has decided that you're not it. And and that doesn't mean that something's wrong with you. That doesn't mean that you're not it for somebody else. You're just not it for that person, and that is okay. Yeah. They may be doing you a favor. They're not less than, or you're not worth less because somebody didn't see something in you that is there. You just weren't at the right address. You're like a package that got delivered at the right address. Like, right. I always say, like, you can't take a diamond to a man that has never understood. He doesn't understand jewelry. Like, he's not going to know the quality of the diamond when he's used to cubic zirconia. Like, he don't know the difference.
Ooh, come on now.
So don't be mad when somebody doesn't see your value and they don't even know any better. Their palate is not developed enough for you. Like, their taste is not developed enough. Like, that's okay. Like, we've all been there where we get rejected, or he picks another body and we're like, what's wrong with me? Like, why not me? Why her, not me? Like, we've all been there. Yeah. And you just learn that, we were just not a good match, and my match is still out there. If there's 8 billion people in the world, there's somebody out there for you.
It's a billion. It's 8 billion. And let's say this, okay, right? It is absolutely 8 billion people on the face of the planet. And let's say of those 8 billion, only 3 billion, right, are possible and in the same right age range that can and will want to date you. Go find them. Just go find them.
Yeah. And then to wrap this up, just some of the things we wanted to touch on really fast was, like we said before, to recap, dating multiple people at the same time does not mean sleeping with them. But I think dating multiple people at the same time kind of keeps you level-headed. Mm-hmm. Like, when you don't have all your eggs in one basket, you're not giving one man so much power over you where every little thing he does has you unraveling. Date multiple men so that you won't be as accessible, because I'm not free on Friday. I'm really not. Like, I have another day. Like, you don't have to always disclose why, but it's like, spend some time with your girlfriends. Don't be that friend where you have a little attention from a man, you get ghost on your girlfriends. Like, still cultivate your other relationships so that you're not feeling so invested in something that didn't earn that from you. Like, I've done that. I used to do that all the time, where I'm the kind of person, if I like you, I love you. So I go on a date and I'm like, oh, he's great. And it's just like, it gets hot and heavy real fast. And I'm like, oh, yes. Like, let's see each other every day. Like, I'm obsessive, So I had to learn to, like, hey, no, like, I'm going to hang out with you on Monday. I may spend some time with myself for the next few days. And, I'm not going to always be available on your time. I'm not available on Sunday, but maybe I can do Wednesday. Maybe.
That'll make somebody fall in love with you quick, too.
What? It works like a charm. So just things like that, not being as accessible, maintaining your standards. Like, I love when you said that, Corvaya, like, people try to tell you, like, your standards are too much. No, they're not. Those are your standards. You should hang on to them. You know what you're looking for, and you know what's going to make you happy. Somebody else should not be able to determine that for you. Absolutely. And the number one thing that we always say, and Alechia and I, like, we harp on this all the time, when you are dating, the number one focus is not the man. it is you. You are focusing on yourself. You need to still be working on your healing, your physical wellness, your own financial stability, your travel. Like, work on making you lit so that you can't help but vibrate at a level where other lit people are. You're not going to meet the lit man at this low vibration. Like, change your vibration by working on yourself so you can meet the man that is worthy of having you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Because you're going to bring into your universe exactly who you are. So if you like, well, all I ever bring in is bums or shitty people, it could just be. No. So, that's possible. However, but you might not be a bum, but you're definitely vibrating on that level. Just like there's a frequency. Like when I don't listen to sad music when I'm really, really happy, because even if I'm happy as fuck, that sad song is going to pull a memory that made me sad. And now I am feeling all heartbroken, and the vibration. That's a low vibration. I want to make sure we answer that question because that question just came in. So a low vibration it's an energy. You know how 90% of communication is nonverbal? What they really mean by that is 90% of communication, is nonverbal. What people mean by that is your energy speaks for you before you ever open your mouth. When you walk into a room, when I talk about people and men and women can feel or see blood in the water, there is an energy that you put out. I can tell you when a woman walks in the room whether or not she has low self-esteem. And if, let's say, I'm a narcissist or a man who wants to get over on you, I'm going to choose the one who has low self-esteem because the vibration and the energy that she's on is easier for me to permeate that one.
There it is.
It's an energy. Your vibration is the energy that you bring and that you show up in the world with. So if you're vibing low, or if you have a low vibration, what it means, because everything has a vibration, just like music has different frequencies, and depending on the frequency of the music, it brings out a different energy, emotion, thought, feeling inside of you. When I listen to Slowly by what's her name? I think Selena. Listen. To 112 anywhere, what do you immediately want to do? Go fuck somebody's son or daughter if that's your thing. Anywhere. It's an energy. So that vibration is literally just what you're permeating within yourself. So if all you permeating is bummy type energy, that's all the fuck you're gonna get back is bummy type energy. Switch up your vibration.
Yeah. And that's based on your thoughts, the things that you speak over yourself, your self-talk, you know, the things that you're doing, the things,
how you act, how you walk, your posture, all that.
Everything, how you smell, like everything is about how you're vibing. So it's like, it's important to be conscious of that because people feel it. They may not be able to articulate. They don't know why. It's like, I always like to give this example because some people don't understand or believe in energy or vibration, but it's just, that's literally science in the world we live in. Is like, you ever walk into like a warm house, but it feels cold because it's so tense? Or like, you ever see two people and you could just tell they're fucking, but you don't even know why. Like, they didn't do anything, but it's like, what's going on with that? It's just something that we are able to do. We're able to read energy. We're energetic beings. So it's like, it's sometimes those things you can't explain when things feel tense or things feel, you just feel on edge and you don't know why, or you meet somebody, you like, there's something about him that I can't really put my finger on. That is energy that you're picking up on. That's what that means. You don't know how to articulate it with those words, but it's the same thing.
Yep.
Y'all, so we're not going to play the rapid fire game?
I mean,
we done kept you almost 2 hours, child.
That was the best part.
Okay, we can play. All right, we can play. Okay, so we're gonna do some quick rapid fire questions.
Do three, and let's just wrap it up.
Okay. All right, Danny, you go first. Rapid fire. Okay. They're telling us to play. All right, Danny.
Wait, so I just have to answer, right? Fast.
You just have to answer. Yeah, you got to answer real fast.
I love podcast games. Like, this is why I listen to podcasts. We need to do this.
Okay, so my rapid fire question is, if you meet a guy and he says that he is somebody that likes both men and women, will you date him?
Absolutely the fuck not. No, not doing it. Next.
Okay, all right.
That's the thing these days. We have to have these conversations because that is happening.
Sexually fluid men is a thing, and I respect it. I'm just not dating them. It's a no for me. And guess what? If I was on Ready to Love saying that, I would have got dragged too.
Oh, yeah, you would have been. Oh, yeah, I would have called you homophobic or
all the
Vics, all the phobics. You would have been it. You would have been it. Okay, so next question. All right, so you meet the perfect guy. He is amazing. He literally is not on anywhere near any of your list of non-negotiables. Everything is gravy. But you guys are intimate one night and you realize that he has really, really bad BO. Do you stay or do you go?
I go.
But everything else is good.
Oh, that's a problem that you cannot fix. That is, he grew up that way. That is a habit. That is a lifestyle. I'm not doing that. Been there, done that. It's nasty.
I've actually been there, done that too, and it is like not okay. It's just like, and you try to stick it out because you think it's just a one-off, and then you're like, hold on, this is like always the thing.
Problem, no.
Okay, and my next one is you meet a guy. He's amazing. He's tall. He's handsome. You know from his occupation that he is financially stable. The vibes are lit. Like everything is going well. You guys have been dating for a while now. Say we're on like date 5 or 6. So things are a little hot and heavy. You know him a little bit. You're comfortable. You decide to take it to the next level. You guys are about to be intimate. You see that he has a small penis. Can you tolerate that or are you out?
Size matters, but I'm staying. It's too many big.
Really?
It's too many big penis men out here who are like low effort, bare minimum that I'm just like, if I have to do it, I will.
Really?
Not a problem.
Yeah.
But if I have to do it, I will. And I think it comes from just, I love myself enough. Just be okay with the fact that this man adores me. He's great. He's fucking awesome. He makes me feel good. He brings a great energy out of me. Just got to work with what you got in the physical sense, because that's not something you could change. You don't work with something that you can get some, I don't know how to explain it, but the size of the penis,
I get it.
You know, it better not be too small. I don't know how small you're talking.
Small.
I read this article on Vice. Vice has the most like.
Oh my God, I love Vice.
Yes, and it's about men with small penis. So they survey a whole bunch of men with small penises. But y'all, I never imagined a penis smaller than 3-4 inches. You know?
Oh yeah.
The men with the small penises for real. The dude said it was the size of a quarter.
It's a micro penis. It's a thing.
Yeah, it's a thing.
It's a thing.
Now, if we talking that.
Well, no, but here's my follow-up rapid fire question, right? If he is giving you all the things, everything you ever wanted, he has a small penis, you decide to stay, do you cheat? And are you I swear y'all like a talk. Are you ethically cheating? Or excuse me, are you ethically non-monogamous? Because it's not considered cheating if you guys have had a discussion. Are you going to ask him, since you know and he knows you will never be satisfied by his penis, are you asking to be able to have other sexual partners?
If I love somebody, I'm not capable of cheating. I don't know if I can do that. Like, I have been in love with men who are not marriage material, and I literally could not step out of the relationship. So I don't think so.
That is beautiful.
That would just suck. Suck so bad. And you know what? I say hell no now, but I've also never been with a man with a really small penis. So you got to kind of like experience it when you're there and see what happens, you know, when you cross that river. But I hope I never get there.
I hope that.
One last question. You're out and about and you look over and you see your bestie's man with another bitch. Do you A, call bestie and tell her, or do you B, mind your damn business and keep it moving?
Or do you get video footage?
You would tell her video pictures.
It's just hard. I've been in situations where I've told the bestie and it backfired on me.
Me too.
I think I will mind my business.
See, me too. I'm gonna mind my business, friend. I love you, but
I'm gonna mind my business. And guess what? If you see my man out with somebody, you don't gotta call me. That's not your responsibility. It's cool. I don't even have to know.
So you wouldn't feel betrayed if your friend knew all along and she just didn't say anything?
I might feel some type of way, but I definitely am self-aware enough to understand that that's I can't really write her off for that. You know what I'm saying? That is okay. She didn't want to be involved. And I have to respect that decision for sure.
Send me the video. I want pictures. I'm doing the same thing. I'm getting video evidence, and I'm gonna wait until we nice and tipsy, and then I'm be like, you know what's so funny, girl? Guess who I saw the other day?
You want me to shut up? I saw like your man out. You want to know?
Hell yeah, I want to know.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me immediately, because here's my thing. Again, I'm a
I don't know. It backfired on me the times that I've done it. It has just never gone in my favor. And then you end up being like the enemy of the relationship when they don't leave.
They're going to go back with them. Now you cut off.
But see, and here's my thing. If you're my friend and you cut me off because I told you your man is doing some shady, shitty stuff, I'm sorry. There's a thing called herpes that I can't get rid of. There's a thing called AIDS that I can't fucking get rid of. There is syphilis that if I don't know I have it can literally destroy my insides. No, tell me, because if this motherfucker is this loose, like if you are this loose that you out here in public embarrassing me, oh hell no, you playing in my motherfucking face.
You definitely fucking wrong.
Yeah, you playing in my face. That means you're real comfortable with her. So if you're not just meeting the bitch in the hotel, the least you can do is respect me and not tell nobody that you a nasty hoe just sleeping with every Suzette, Melissa, and Jennifer.
Oh God.
Public embarrassment? Tell me, because what I'm gonna do. And the same thing I did with my ex-husband when I found him cheating. I don't get mad. I don't get angry. The bitch kept texting. I thought it was his mama because I don't go through cell phones. And the bitch kept texting after he spent the weekend with her. It just kept buzzing. I'm doing our baby's hair in our bed. The phone kept buzzing. I'm like, oh, maybe it's an emergency. You know, his mama gets sick a lot. I pick up the phone, of course, on, iPhones. The message comes up. I look, she said, oh, I had such a great weekend with you. Can't wait to do it again. I said, I put the phone back down. I finished doing my baby's hair. And once I was finished, I laid my baby on the bed. I went downstairs, gave him his phone and said, hey, so-and-so said she had a really great time with you this weekend. Clearly, you don't want to be married anymore. And that's okay because I don't either. You have until Friday to either get out or me and my child will be getting out. Either way, this is over. Thanks for playing. But not fight, fuss, holler, But I'm not going to allow you to put my health in jeopardy. I'm so sorry. I've made it this long without an incurable disease.
It's a real thing. Damn. Yeah, I get that. Okay,
I'll consider, if I'm ever in that situation, like this could be better.
Thank you, because if y'all don't send me the video, then I'm gonna be mad at you. But if you send me the video, I'll be like, damn, this motherfucker.
I might, you know what I might do? I might just send it anonymously, like create like a fake IG and just like tell you in another way without you knowing it was me who told you.
That works.
Like you have the information, but my hands are clean. It's like
that works too. But let me know if you care about me. If you love me, you will let me know. You will not allow me and this crazy man who don't care enough about himself to be put in a situation, because what if he has a baby? Like, then what? Then I gotta be heartbroken dealing with another. Nah, nigga. Tell me.
It could go way left. You're
right. You guys, this was so awesome. Thank you guys for hanging out with us all this time. Thank you, Corvaya, for being so open and so dope. I hope a lot of people get to watch this and see this so they can see more of your actual personality, as opposed to how it's depicted. Because like I said, I am watching, and I feel like this is how I interpreted you as well. But I know that everyone's lens is different and how they process the world is different. But it's nice sometimes for people to just kind of see you in a different space, in a different element, so that they can have a better judgment of you and have a better picture. Because just remember, guys, like TV is edited and cut for your entertainment at the expense of whoever is being filmed. So sometimes people don't realize that reality TV does need to be entertaining, and if they have to make you a villain, they will. Yeah. So many people talk about that, and it's a great show, and I do think they do a good job of not villainizing anyone too much. But I know that editing just does not capture the full essence of how dope some of the people are, you know? So thank you for coming on.
To do it again, I would. I'm actually enjoying watching it. Friday, another episode. It's going to be a good one. I know what happens, so y'all don't miss it. I actually am gonna take a little road trip and watch it with my family. That's how good it's gonna be. So
okay, good. So it's Fridays, guys, on at 8 p.m. I believe Fridays on at 8 p.m. And it's awesome. It's a really good show. So if you haven't tuned in, go back and watch so you can catch up. And just, you know, see how good of a show it is. I love seeing Black people in a space where you see them falling in love and getting to know each other and just seeing us frolic and be in joyous spaces. Like that's what this show is. It shows Black people having a good time, having deep conversations, and showing a side of us that we just don't get to see enough of on TV. So check out Ready to Love on at 8 p.m. on Fridays. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with us. This will be available after. So if you weren't able to make it, or if you have a friend that wanted to tune in but wasn't able to, please share. You can stay connected with me at the Danny Bordeaux. Where can we stay connected with you, Corvaya?
At Corvaya everywhere, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. For my blog posts, events, I have a few downloadables there that might help people with different areas of their life. So you can find me there.
Awesome. You can find me everywhere at Alechia Reese, spelled ALECHIAREESE. And if you are still rocking with us, still on and still listening, y'all the real MVP, because this is about 2 hours. So thank y'all for rocking with us. Stay connected with us everywhere at Triggered AF PC or Triggered AF Podcast.com. Y'all, we are going to be bringing these events live and living color. We had such a great time with you, Corvaya. Thank you so much for joining us. Make sure y'all stay tuned because we are going to be doing this in person soon. So until next time, bye everyone.
Bye.